Yo, tapping in real quick for this Dana White Contender Series, Week 7. That'll be taking place tomorrow evening, September 24th. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Not a whole lot to talk about. Per usual, only 5 fights lined up for tomorrow night. And as of right now, with the lineup that I have sitting in front of me, we will have 2 young women kicking this card off. And if I am not mistaken, both of these young ladies are fighting out of Brazil. We have Alexia, if I'm saying that one correctly, Alexia, who's currently sitting as a slight underdog at plus 112 on the money line. Alexia, who's currently 10-1 in her career, up against opposition with combined records of 26 wins, 20 losses, and 1 draw. She will be taking on Rose, who's currently sitting as a minus 150 favorite on the money line. Rose, 7-0, up against opposition with combined records of 17 wins and 8 losses. And this fight right here is 100% absolutely a complete pass for me as far as I am concerned. I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Not from a betting, parlaying shit, not even from a picking perspective. But for the sake of a pick and for the sake of everybody who tapped into this video, I will be siding with the slight dog who's currently sitting at plus 112 on the money line, which is Alexia, who's currently 10-1 in her career, to improve to 11-1 in her career, while handing Rose her first ever loss and sending Rose home 7-1. Now, I am not necessarily sure how Alexia will go about securing this victory tomorrow night. It may be via unanimous. It may be via split. It may be via majority. She may find a motherfucking finish. I have absolutely no clue how she's going to go about winning this matchup. Hence, why I want absolutely nothing to do with this matchup in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But for the sake of a pick, Alexia is very much it. Moving on. We have Kevin taking on Cam. Kevin currently sitting at a minus 375 favorite on the money line. Kevin is 13-1, up against opposition with combined records of 91 wins and 59 losses. And in my personal opinion, it is worth mentioning that Kevin's one loss does come to Gene Silva, who, as of lately, has proven to be a legitimate level of opposition, as well as being a very dangerous individual fighting out of the Fighting Nerds camp. You understand what I'm saying to you? He's taking on Cam, who's currently an underdog at plus 260 on the money line. Cam is 7-0, up against opposition with combined records of 15 wins and 17 losses, and Kev is very much the pick. You know what I'm talking about? To go ahead and get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion, most likely in devastating fashion inside the distance, handing Cam his first ever loss and sending him home 7-1. Not only is Kev the pick, but he's also the first leg of my 3-leg parlay on his 5-fight card, and that 3-leg parlay pays out at plus 196. You know what I'm talking about? Kev's the pick, and Kev's the first leg. Now we got Kev versus Francisco, if I'm saying that correctly. And this Kev is currently sitting as a minus 159 favorite on the money line. 8-2, up against opposition with combined records of 34 wins and 13 losses. He's taking on Francisco. Francisco is currently an underdog, sitting at plus 120 on the money line. Francisco is 4-0, up against opposition with combined records of 6 wins and 4 losses. And once again, this Kev is very much the pick to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Not only is he the pick, he's also his second leg of my 3-leg parlay that comes together at plus 196. You know what I'm talking about? Not exactly sure what kind of a reach advantage Kev is going to have over Francisco. Kev does possess an 80-inch reach, but I was unable to find Francisco's reach listed anywhere. So I'm not exactly sure if that 80-inch reach will be an advantage, how much of an advantage, or if it will be a disadvantage, and how much of a disadvantage. He does have a 5-inch height advantage, and I'm siding with him to be the one to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and you know, hand Francisco his first loss, possibly in devastating fashion. You know what I mean? And sending him home 5-0. So Kev and Kev are the picks and the first 2 legs for my 3-leg parlay. Moving on, Vadim. Vadim is minus 235 favorite on the money line. Vadim is 17-1, up against opposition with combined records of 123 wins and 56 losses. Vadim is taking on Daniel, who's an underdog, currently sitting at plus 170 on the money line. Daniel is 8-2 up against opposition with combined records of 41 wins, 20 losses, and 1 draw. The pick is very much Vadim to get this one done inside the distance and send Daniel home 8-3. And Vadim improved to 18-1. And he is also the third and final leg of my 3-leg parlay that pays at plus 196. Kev, and Vadim. Those are my 3 legs. Moving on. Bailey versus Danny Lowe. If I'm saying that correctly, I don't really know how I'm supposed to say that one. So we're going to call him Danny Lowe. You know what I'm talking about? But Bailey, currently sitting as the biggest favorite on the card at minus 670 on the money line, which is absolutely ridiculous considering he's only 5-0 up against opposition with combined records of 8 wins and 4 losses. How anybody could be considered to be that big of a favorite against anybody else when their level of opposition for their 5-0 run has been 8-4 is beyond me. He's taking on Danny Lowe, though, who's 6-0 up against opposition. Danny Lowe is currently sitting as a plus 440 underdog on the money line. Danny Lowe is 6-0 up against opposition with combined records of 23 wins and 73 losses. And listen, I get it. I completely understand it 100% based off of this paperwork. When you look at Bailey, and you see Bailey's 5-0 up against opposition with combined records of 8 wins and 4 losses. And you look over at Danny Lowe, you look at his 6-0 up against opposition with combined records of 23 wins and 73 losses. It's a bit fucking horrendous. You know what I mean? And it may cause you to naturally, a natural reaction may be to just put action on Bailey or wrap him up in a parlay to make it so that you can have action on Bailey. But for me, this, very much like the first fight of the night, is a 100% absolutely complete fucking pass. I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight in any way, shape, form, or fashion, man. Not betting, not parlaying, not picking, not even for the sake of picking. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anything to do with this fight, man. I don't want anything to do with this fight, man. But for the sake of a pick, we in the doghouse. Give me the motherfucking dog, man. Give me the motherfucking dog, man. Why isn't Vadim the biggest favorite on the card? Why isn't Kevin, that's fighting Cam, the biggest favorite on the card? Why aren't they the 2 biggest favorites? Or why the fuck is Bailey? Like, Vadim is 17-1 up against opposition with combined records of 123 wins and 56 losses. Kev is 13-1 up against opposition with combined records of 91 wins and 59 losses, and his only loss comes to a legitimate level of opposition in Gene Silva. Why the fuck is Bailey at 5-0 with opposition with combined records of 8-4, the biggest favorite on the motherfucking card at minus 670, man? Why? What the fuck justifies that, man? Every single motherfucking fight on this card, every fight on Dana White Contender, every single Dana White Contender Series card should be a pick'em, man. They should be minus 110, minus 110 pick'ems, because regardless of how good any of these motherfuckers have looked en route to where they are now, it means nothing. The level of opposition that they've been facing has been insignificant. You understand what I'm saying to you? None of them, with the exception of Kevin, have really faced a legitimate level of opposition as of yet in their careers for any of us to be arguing any of their statistics in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It is why I will not tap in to this comment section and argue any of these motherfucking picks in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If anybody attempts to tap in and argue any of these picks with me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, crickets, man. I'm not going to entertain that shit. This is Dana White Contender Series, man. This ain't the UFC. I don't give a fuck how good these motherfuckers have looked en route to here. They should have looked magnificent. Absolutely immaculate for the most part when you take into consideration the level of opposition that they've been facing, man. And I get it. When you look at Bailey's 5-0 up against opposition with combined records of 8 wins and 4 losses, then you look at Danny Lowe's 6-0 up against opposition with combined records of 23 wins and 73 losses. That shit's horrendous. It just makes you automatically want to rock with Bailey. No. Because 73 of those losses, 53 of them came from one opponent. One fucking opponent. 12 of them came from another opponent. That's 65 of those 73 in just accumulated in 2 fights. You understand what I'm saying to you? His opposition still has, 8, 16, 24, almost 3 times the wins. He only has 1 more fight than Bailey. But his opposition has 3 times, just about 3 times the wins as Bailey. Now his opposition has damn near 10 times the losses, but that only comes from 2 opponents and majority of it from 1 opponent. He fought 1 opponent that was something and 53. You understand what I'm saying to you? So 53 of those 73 losses come from 1 guy. Know what I mean? So if we scratch that dude out, and we talk about the 5 matchups, those 5 matchups, and this guy's 5 matchups, you know, it's a bit different, man. It's just a bit different, man. Neither one of these motherfuckers are impressive in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Neither one of these motherfuckers have produced a body of work that in any way, shape, form, or fashion would justify either one of them being a favorite over the other. But we have Bailey, who's 5-0 up against opposition with combined records of 8 wins and 4 losses, sitting at minus 670 on the goddamn money line, excuse my language, and one of the biggest motherfucking favorites on the card, man. Huh? Jesus. It's just ridiculous. And you can give me the dog, man. You can give me the motherfucking dog to get it done in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came out there and starched him up, stiffened him up, and got him the fuck up out of there with quickness. You know what I mean? My goodness. Much like Dubin. Mike Dubin, as the biggest underdog on the card, did a few weeks back, and like Ketlin just did in the UFC as a big underdog. Like, Danny Lowe gonna fuck around and come through, man. I hope none of you degenerate motherfuckers parlay Bailey up at minus 670. Leave that fucking fight alone, man. Unless you want to take a stab at the dog. Like, my 3-leg parlay is Vadim, Kevin, and Kevin at plus 196. You know what I'm talking about? If I do another parlay, then it's just going to be two more $10 parlays. You know what I mean? Like, I got Vadim, Kevin, and Kevin just parlay together 3 legs at plus 196 for $30. You know what I mean? I'm just do something on it. You know what I mean? Just to have some action on it. I might throw $10 on Vadim, Kevin, and Alexia. And then $10 on Vadim, Kevin, and Danny Lowe. Just on some dog play shit. You know what I mean? But my 3 picks and my 3 plays and my 3 legs for plus 196 on this 5 motherfucking card of 5-fight card is Vadim, Kevin, and Kevin. You know what I mean? Complete pass on the first fight of the night. Complete pass on the last fight of the night. But there might be a dog play on both. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I get it, man. Bailey's 5-0 up against opposition with combined records of 8 wins and 4 losses. Looks a lot better than Danny Lowe's 6-0 up against opposition with combined records of 23 wins and 73 losses. But 53 of those 73 losses come from one individual, and 12 of those 73 come from another. So that's 65 out of the 73 right there. You know what I'm talking about? And then the rest is spread between the other individuals, man. So it very much is what it is. Pick your own poison type shit. You know what I mean? I got 3 picks for this card. Kevin, and Vadim. But with that being said, this is Dana White Contender Series, man. This shit could go any which way. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.